Today topics is South Korea, history, geography, and complete information. South Korea's recent history is one of astonishing progress. Annexed by Japan in the early 20th century, and enraged by World War II and the Korean War, South Korea ended decades of military dictatorship. However, in the late 1980s, South Korea formed a delegation to form a democratic government and is one of the world's leading high-tech manufacturing economies. Despite the turmoil in relations with neighboring North Korea, the South is a major Asian power and an inspiring success story. Capital and major cities. Capital: Seoul, population 9.9 million. Major cities: Busan, 3.4 million, Incheon, 2.9 million, Daegu, 2.4 million, Daejeon, 1.5 million. Guangzhou, 1.5 million, Ulsan, 1.2 million, Suwon, 1.2 million, Changwon, 1.1 million. Now we will know about South Korean government system. South Korea is a constitutional democracy with three governing systems. The president is directly elected for a 5-year term, with the executive branch presiding. Park Geun-hye was elected in 2012 after being elected Park's successor in 2012. The president appoints the prime minister subject to the approval of the National Assembly. The National Assembly is a single legislature with 299 representatives. Members serve for 4 years. South Korea has a complex justice system. The Supreme Court is the constitutional court, which decides on constitutional law and the ruthlessness of government officials. The Supreme Court decides another top appeal. Lower courts include appellate courts, district, branch, and municipal courts. What is the population of South Korea? South Korea has a population of about 50,924,000, 2016 estimates. Extraordinary unit of population in terms of population: 99% of people are ethnically Korean. However, the number of foreign workers and other migrants continues to grow. In terms of government concerns, South Korea has one of the world's lowest birth rates of 8.4 people per 1,000 population. Families traditionally prefer boys. Sex-selective abortions resulted in a major gender imbalance in 116.5 children born for every 100 girls in 1990. However, this trend has been reversed and the male-to-female birth rate is still slightly unbalanced, with society now valuing girls with a popular slogan. It's, "One girl raised 10 boys well." South Korea's population is negligible, with 83% living in urban areas. We will now know about the South Korean language. Korean is the official language of South Korea, spoken by 99% of the population. Korean is a strange language with a clear linguistic cousin. Various linguists argue that it is related to Altic languages such as Japanese or Turkish and Mongolian. Until the 15th century, Korean was written in Chinese characters, and many educated Koreans could still read Chinese well. In 1443, the great Seohan of the Joseon dynasty introduced a 24-letter phonetic alphabet for Koreans. Hangul. Sejong wanted a simplified writing system so that his subjects could become more easily educated. People of any religion live in South Korea. As of 2010, 43.3% of South Koreans had no religious preference. The largest religions were Buddhism, 24.2%, Protestant Christian, 24%, and Catholic 7.2%. In addition to minorities quoting Islamic or Confucianism, there are local religious movements such as Jung Sandu, Daesan Jinheho or Chandosm. This cohesive religious movement is drawn through millionaire and Korean shamanism, as well as imported Chinese and Western faith systems. What is the geographical location of South Korea? South Korea covers an area of 100,210 square kilometers, 38,677 square miles, in the southern half of the Korean peninsula. 70% of the country is mountainous, the lowlands are concentrated along the west coast. South Korea's only land border is with North Korea along the Demilitarized Zone (DMZ). It has maritime borders between China and Japan. The highest point in South Korea is Holasan, a volcano on the southern island of Jeju. The lowest point is sea level. South Korea has a humid continental climate, with 4 seasons. Winters are cold and snowy, while summers are hot and humid with frequent typhoons. South Korean economy. South Korea is one of the tiger economies in Asia, the 4th largest in the world in terms of GDP. This fascinating economy is largely based on exports, especially consumer electronics and vehicles. Important South Korean manufacturers include Samsung, Hyundai, and LG. South Korea's per capita income was $36,500, and the unemployment rate as of 2015 was a staggering 3.5%. However, 14.6% of the population lives below the poverty line. The South Korean currency is the won. As of 2015, Markina 1 US equals 1,129 Koreans have won. History of South Korea. After 2,000 years as an independent state, but with strong ties with China, Japan annexed Korea in 1910. Japan controlled Korea as a colony until 1945, when it surrendered to a global alliance. War II. When the Japanese were drawn in, Soviet troops occupied North Korea and U.S. troops entered the South Peninsula. In 1948, the division of the Korean Peninsula into Communist North Korea and capitalist South Korea was officially introduced. Served as the 38th parallel dividing line of latitude. Korea became a hotbed in the Cold War between the United States and the Soviet Union. Thanks for watching this video and please subscribe our channel.